Thunderduck. I wanted to do a kind of an introduction video. I haven't done this yet to kind of set the tone as to who I am, other than just putting out these uncanceled history videos. A lot of people call me Batman. A lot of people call me Duck. I've been known as Thunderduck for a long time. And the backdrop to that is that it was a CB handle back in the 90s for me. I drove around in a Thunderbird, had a blown gasket, made kind of a quacking sound, and someone gave me the name Thunderduck. So Duck or Thunderduck has been my name for a long time. Batman just comes from my sheer obsession with anything Batman. Behind my green screen is a wall covered in Batman stuff. Maybe I'll take a picture of it at some point, just to make it my actual background. But it's kind of a dumb thing to do with the green screen behind me. But what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about myself. I'll also let you know I'm starting a new series called MS Diaries. And this is kind of to set this up. I do suffer from multiple sclerosis and a very rare form of it called PPMS. Hopefully not all depressing, but I do want to kind of make it as a diary. Me personally, I started this channel and started these videos because I'm typically a very creative person. This disease has taken away my ability to draw, taken away my ability to write. I've had to use different voice programs, but without going in too far into who I am, because the book's out of print right now anyway. But I am a published author, published poet. I used to love to go do karaoke, so one of the things I still do is I still record on apps like Smule and StarMaker. And but politics, though, the reason of all this getting up there is I spent every day kind of yelling at the TV about how stupid I thought things were getting. And the more cancel culture kind of reared its head, I wanted to do whatever I could to combat that, even if it's only to one or two people at a time, or a couple hundred subscriptions, or it's going to turn into a big thing, a small thing, just something to where I know that I'm not doing nothing, which is what a lot of people I think do. They bitch and moan from the comfort of their chair and don't really do anything despite what they say needs to be done. So I've always believed that there's a saying, I don't know who said it, but there's a saying that you need to be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, I've tried to live that throughout my life, and I got stuck in a really bad place with depression, and it led to me doing this channel to kind of come out of it. I've been doing pretty good since. But how I got into politics was, I was a normal guy. I was really into wrestling, still am to this day, professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, whatever. But when 9/11 happened, I think everybody who was alive at that point, and maybe over the age of 16, was pretty well glued to the news. Whatever channel you were watching, you wanted to know what was happening next. It was such a time of turmoil in America. You didn't know if more planes were falling. You didn't know if the next attack was the next day. You didn't know if there were who the real enemy truly was. And so I was always watching. A little bit of anxiety and fear caught into that. I was heavily overweight. It wasn't like I could join the military or anything along those lines. But when you first start watching the news, when something like that happens, you don't know who the players are. You don't know who the characters are. And so I equate this to people who have never seen wrestling. If I were to sit you down in front of Monday Night Raw, and you didn't know the wrestlers, you didn't know the storylines, you didn't know why people were feuding, you didn't know who the tag teams were, who the champions were, or any of that type of stuff. It would take you several weeks, if not months, to catch on to all of it as it continues to evolve. Wrestling has no reruns. Everything is one time only. So news and politics is like that. When you first start watching, I knew who the president was. I kind of knew who his vice president was, and so on and so forth. But as you start watching, you start picking up the characters, and you realize their role in the story and how they're going to react in different parts of the story, and why they fight with a certain person. And it's just, by the end of it, the news and the media is just another unscripted reality TV show that just happens to affect all of our lives. And so as time went on, I got to know a lot of them, and then I started doing my own studying, and read the Constitution, studied the Constitution, studied laws. I'm from Texas, so I studied Texas law a lot. I'm in Oklahoma now, so now I'm looking at Oklahoma's laws. Every state's different. God bless America, that is what the Constitution said it should be. And with everything being canceled and statues being torn down and the 1619 Project and all these different things trying to change the history of America by rewriting facts through a different lens, I thought I would use this lens right here that I'm staring at to make sure that there's at least one document, and I know there's millions of documents, or documented things, explaining what history is before it's erased. If it ever gets erased, I think eventually we will have not in a civil war sense, but there will be a reckoning and a backlash against all this cancel culture, PC, wokeness. I really do think there's going to be a crack of the spine, of the spineless, if you want to call it that. So, that's me. I'm really into music, like I said. I could right now hit shuffle on my playlist, and you would hear everything from Phantom of the Opera to Garth Brooks to Mudvayne. I was a band geek in high school. Played trombone, played the drums. I played a lot of the percussion instruments, but mainly I played trombone. Was a huge fan of marching band. Going to the tournaments and stuff, it was a great time. Ultimately, I want this channel to be a huge success, but not for me. I'm not looking to really make money off this channel. There will be a couple different things happening with the channel that each I want its own separate success for. One being the Uncanceled history. I would love to get people more aware of the political realm. Conservatives tend to lose a lot of these fights because the loudest voice seems to win. And whether or not conservatives believe they're right or not, they're not typically the loudest voice in the room. Something about that needs to change. With MS, I want to have a documented story, and I will be talking about stories of my life and kind of telling little tales, and maybe use it as a diary to when I do pass on, that my son has a video library of things he can look back on, including this video, which I know is a lot of rambling. But beyond that, I'm trying to figure out the legalities of whether or not I can do the recordings as a cover to put my singing on here as a third channel. Not that I'm some great singer, but I do all right. I've been doing karaoke for about 17 years. But anyway, I do want to thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe now. Hit that little button. Hit the bell because of my MS, I don't really have a schedule to release things. I kind of release them as I feel good enough to do them. And please share my videos, not necessarily this one, but my series, my different series that will be out. Please share those videos, like the videos, share the videos. Leave a comment down there if there's something you'd like to talk about directly, or if you think there's something that you would like me to talk about on one of my series. But until then, as I tell everybody, don't be canceled.